All right, Happy New Year. Let's go to work. Alongside Tyler Foljam, I'm Joe Fortenbaugh. This is Bet. And unlike certain teams on Sunday Night Football, we will never be accused of taking the show off. Not going to name names, but I think we all know who I'm talking about. Congratulations on moving up 3 spots in the draft. Philadelphia, very
Your
savvy.
Philadelphia Eagles, brother Joe Fortenbaugh.
Yeah, I wanted to evaluate Nate Sudfeld too, and now I think we all know exactly what we have in Nate Sudfeld. Big show coming up. ESPN reporter Diana Russini set to join us to talk all things NFL playoffs. We've also got to start taking a look at the NFC, or I should say the CFB championship game scheduled for one night from tonight. Trivia, reaction, no action, all that good stuff. But right before Christmas, Mr. Foljam and I played a little game of Secret Santa where we gifted each other 4 wagers that were set to take place over the next week. All of those wagers have now concluded.
Right.
It's time to see who paid off.
Yeah, who got some presents under the tree from their best friend.
Presents and call. I am going to go ahead and show you first. Let's do a recap of what I gifted you and take a look at that.
Wow.
I'd like to apologize for not being perfect. Few of us are. We gave you a little teaser action. We gave you a little Alabama first half. Thankfully, the Notre Dame field goal kicker missed right at the end of the half, and the Seattle money line in the event your beloved Rams came up short, you'd have some money in your pocket.
I don't like that. I still don't like that money. That money.
You lost the game, but you got some money.
Yeah,
There you go,
fine.
3-1. You're profitable. Sorry about Clemson. That never had a chance.
You were a great Secret Santa. I appreciate that. Now, me, on the other hand, I think I was so perturbed and so bothered by you gifting me a victory against my NFL team that I said, poppycock bah humbug. And we started off all right.
Christmas Day, it was very nice, the first game out.
But the Tennessee-Green Bay game, it went over when the line adjusted down to 53.5, 54 because of the weather. Way off on Clemson, Ohio State. I'll learn never again to bet an under in college football. Stupid. And of course, you were supposed to lose the Cole bet. However, it almost cashed.
So close.
It almost cashed. I told you when I gave you this.
Close.
Here's what's going to happen. The Falcons are going to have a lead in the fourth quarter, and the Chiefs are going to come back and win the game, which is exactly what happened.
So, congratulations to me in typical American fashion. My gift is debt, and I get ready to start the new year in a hole. All right, as we normally start Monday shows, a little reaction or no action. I'm going to give you a statement. You let me know if you want to react or no act.
Okay.
Ready to go?
React or no.
All right, Tennessee Titans running back Derrick Henry will rush for over 150 yards in Sunday's wild card matchup against the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm going to say no action on that. Last time he played Baltimore this year, back in week 11, he averaged almost 5 yards a carry, but still only came up with 133 yards on 28 carries.
Still a nice day.
That's a nice day. Don't get it twisted. But 150 is a big threshold to cover, even for someone like Derrick Henry. He's not going up against the Houston Texans defense. If this was the Texans, sure. With flying colors,
You'd play it if it
I'd
was
be going soaring over 150. But Baltimore has a good run defense. They've only allowed 102.4 rushing yards per game during this 5-game stretch where they've turned their season around. And it's not like they're, holding teams to less than 4 yards per carry. But the fact that Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins run the ball so well and so efficiently, it limits volume, it limits opportunity for the other team. So I expect Derrick Henry to get anywhere from 20 to 25 carries in this game, but I don't expect him to go over 150. 120 to 125, I can see that. That's just a big number against a not Texans or a not Lions rushing defense.
We ran for 195 in the playoff game last year against Baltimore.
I recall.
All right, just wanted to throw that out there. I'm with you on this one, Brother Tyler. I am going to go ahead and play no action on this one. It's such a meaty number. There's so much meat.
He's a meaty guy, though.
Drizzle on that bone.
He's a meaty guy, that Derrick Henry.
He very much is. 16 games this season. Henry has eclipsed this mark only 4 times. In fact, if you take this regular season, 16 games, the 15 games he played last year, and those 3 playoff games, he's gone over this mark just 9 times in the last 34 games. So it's not necessarily a regular occurrence. Here's what I see happening. Henry will not get to 150 yards, and there's no shame in that, because Baltimore is not going to allow what happened in last year's playoffs to happen again. But stopping Henry is going to open up the play-action passing game for Ryan Tannehill, and I think by the end of the week when we start doing some props, we may find ourselves on some Ryan Tannehill overs because I think he's going to be the guy that has to make some plays in this game. All right.
Is that a deep tease there?
It's a deep tease. It's like a 4-day tease. It's so deep. It's like Tenet, if you've seen that movie.
Haven't yet.
You're going to have to figure out that tease 6 different times.
I hear you really have to be locked in.
Yeah, don't alter the mind in any way or you got no chance. All right, reaction or no action, number 2. For the first time in NFL history, we have a 14-team playoff format, which was expanded for just this season over the usual 12-team playoff format. Reaction or no action, the NFL will keep the 14-team playoff format.
Reaction. Here is why. More games in the postseason to sell for the league to, I don't know, networks like ESPN?
Johnny Manziel.
Equals more money for the owners who, they're doing fine, even in this pandemic. But people who have billions of dollars don't like to lose millions of dollars. They want to keep making millions of dollars. So coming off this pandemic where everyone lost money, where everyone was hurt a little bit financially, including NFL owners, they're going to go, well, we can have a super wild card weekend to sell to ESPN, Fox, ABC, CBS? Yeah, let's do that. 17. They may even consider going to 16 teams. I would advise against that, but I think they will expand the postseason because there's just too much money to pass up.
I am with you on this one. It's not just money. This shows you how screwed up my brain is. So we've been talking about the 7th playoff team all year.
Right.
I completely forgot that means a 3rd playoff game each day.
Right.
I just kept thinking, yeah, there's a 7th playoff team, 7th playoff team. It's going to be cool. We expanded. And then I saw the schedule and I was like, oh, damn. We got 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. That's just awesomeness.
And we're going to do that again next weekend. We're going to do that again the weekend after once the 1 seeds start playing.
Yeah, flex on him, Marvin, will you? So, yes, absolutely it's got to stay from a money perspective, but from an awesome perspective. Do not give the American public a taste of 6 wildcard games and then pull them back. We all watch The Wire. We know how it works. Reaction or no action, number 3. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers are your respective 1 seeds in the AFC and NFC for this year's NFL postseason. Reaction or no action? Kansas City or Green Bay will make the Super Bowl, but not both.
I'll say reaction. Okay? I think one of these teams is going to make the Super Bowl, so.
But not both.
Right. So which team is going to make it? Which team is going to get knocked off? I picked at the beginning of the season the Ravens to win the Super Bowl.
You did.
So the way that the Chiefs won every game but made it difficult, I don't want to bet against the Chiefs, but I'm going to stick with the team that I was riding, the Ravens, who, I don't know if you've heard this, they're hot. They've won 5 in a row.
Red hot.
Can't stop playing great football.
Crush the Jags.
I think it's easier to get through the NFC for the Packers than it is to get to the AFC for the Chiefs because of teams like the Buffalo Bills who could be a legit threat to them and the AFC. So with Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes being the 2 best quarterbacks in the entire galaxy and the entire universe, I think the easier path with Aaron Rodgers playing in cold Lambeau, having teams come up there, having that advantage. I think the Packers get in from the NFC, but the Chiefs follow the Ravens somewhere along the line in the AFC.
We differ a little bit here. I'm going to go no action. We have not seen a wild card team in the playoffs since 2012. Coincidentally, it happened to be your Baltimore Ravens that you're talking about. The bye is extraordinarily valuable.
Right.
Now that we only have 1 bye going in each conference, that's going to give you an edge even over the number 2 seed, which hasn't happened much before. Both these teams also have some home field advantage as well.
Yeah.
Most teams, obviously, you can't put a lot of fans in the stands, if any at all. That's what's going to crush the Saints in the Voodoo Dome because that crowd noise, right? Kansas City can put some fans in the stands, but it's weather. It's weather for Kansas City. It's also weather for the Packers at Lambeau Field. That is an edge. If I got to play it, no action. I see them both going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
All right. Here we
Fair
go.
enough.
Let's transition and bring in an actual expert, someone who actually knows what's going on in the world rather than the 2 talking heads you're watching on this screen. Her name is Diana Russini. She is an NFL reporter for ESPN. Diana, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy day to join us here on Bet. We'll launch off with this. Tampa Bay and Baltimore are the 5 seed in the playoffs in their respective conferences. Both have been playing great as of late. Baltimore's run 5 straight. Tampa Bay's won 4 straight.
This is what we call technical difficulties in the business.
Frozen right there. This is where normally, you know what I'd like to do right now? I'd like to get an update on the Hawks score. I bet the Hawks in the first half over the New York Knickerbockers.
Let me pull that up right now, my
I
good
found
friend.
myself wanting to watch it while we were on the show.
Hasn't tipped yet. It's a 4:30 p.m. Pacific tip, so it's about to tip right now. But I can give you an update on the Hornets-Sixers if you're interested.
Yes.
28-24 Hornets.
2024 Hornets. All right, so let's talk a little college football here
We'll
right
find
now.
Diana again when...
We'll find her.
When
she's out there in the ether.
Put a flamethrower on her, shot there and melt that frozen picture.
Monday, January 11th, 1 week from tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's the Alabama Crimson Tide laying 7.5 against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Total of 75. Little bit of history on the line movement here. Alabama opened as a 7-point favorite. Enough Alabama money came in to push this number all the way up to 8. We saw some Ohio State money today. The number has now come down to 7.5 or 7, depending on where you're looking. We've also seen some under money take this total from about 76.5 down to 75. So that's where the market stands as of now. First question out of the gate. Ohio State smashed Clemson.
Right.
I don't think you and I, either of us saw that coming. I most certainly did not. I really like Clemson in that game. Which Ohio State team are you imagining shows up next Monday? The team that we saw against Northwestern a few weeks ago that was or the team we just saw against Clemson?
Something in between. I think that was the best, the ceiling game that we can see from Justin Fields specifically. I mean, he was marvelous even while dealing with the rib injury that had him wincing trying to get on an exercise bike, if you saw that. So
that 60-yard bomb.
I mean, he was just awesome. So to expect that level of performance again from Justin Fields, I mean, I don't know if he'll ever have a game like that again in his football career. 6 touchdown passes in the way that he did it. So even if he has 3 or 4, which is still a great game, that's not what we saw against Clemson. I think Alabama's offense, obviously much more dynamic than, maybe not much more, but more dynamic this season than Clemson's has been. So you get those two things combined. I still like Alabama. I think Ohio State's going to play something not closer to the Northwestern game, but certainly not what they did against Clemson. I'd probably lay the wood with Bama, but I feel more comfortable about the total. I learned my lesson.
I feel like I'm getting an official pick here.
At
least a week in advance.
At least a week in advance.
Plenty of time
Things
to
can change. Exactly, but I learned my lesson trying to bet an under in a college football. I'm stupid. When you have quarterbacks and offenses, the caliber of Bama and Ohio State, just bet the over or pass.
No one's stopping anybody.
This is
there was
America.
28 points in that game in like 6 minutes.
It was not good from the jump. So even though it's a high number, 75 is comically high. It's a college football game. The clock stops all the time. We have all these different rules than the National Football League that promote scoring. And we have an offense like LSU last year in Alabama that just scores almost seemingly at will. And if Fields does play a B+ and A- game, we know Ohio State can put some points on the board. So I'd bet the over or stay away from this game. I'm leaning towards Alabama right now.
I find myself going back to Old Faithful and thinking Alabama first half
that's
-4. I don't know why I would go against this. I haven't gone against it in weeks. Lots of people have been playing it. It's not as if it's some sort of secret. They smash the opposition early. They're very tough to come up with. They script. You saw it with Notre Dame. As soon as they got the ball, it was right down the field. Then get a stop, then right down the field. Then Notre Dame puts together that 8-minute drive, and you're like, oh, snap, it's 14-7. Notre Dame's defense got some rest. Bama was in 2 minutes, 21-7. You can't stop them. Ohio State's defense has gotten better. They deserve a little bit more respect than I was willing to give them, especially going into the Clemson game. But I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with Alabama's wide receiver core. And because this has been played out so well and they're number 1 in the NCAA in first half scoring this season, I'm going to keep going. Alabama -4 in the first half.
Consider, too, that Jalen Waddle returning to practice right now. Don't know if he's going to be able to play, but the fact that he's getting into practice.
Let's go, Waddle.
Could add some juice to that Alabama offense and their first half bet.
Take 2. Diana Russini, ESPN NFL reporter. The last time we saw her, she looked marvelous, but she was frozen.
Yeah.
We have tried to thaw her out for Take 2. Diana, welcome back to the show.
That was a test. Remember when
I was just
Tess
kidding.
almost scared us to have to
I'm
death?
back. I'm real.
I need bypass surgery. That's why you can't trust people from New Jersey. It's little tricks like that at every single turn. All right, Diana, let's jump into it. The Ravens and the Buccaneers both find themselves as the 5 seeds in their respective conferences. Baltimore enters the postseason having won 5 straight. Tampa Bay enters the postseason having won 4 straight. If you had to make a pick between either one of those two teams to go on and win the Super Bowl, who would it be?
Okay, I love what you guys were talking about before about the possibility of the Packers and the Chiefs not being able to make the Super Bowl. Because when you talk to me about the 5 seeds here on both sides and both conferences here, I just keep thinking either way, either of those teams are going to wind up having to face the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL. So it's going to be a problem either way. But here's the problem. I don't have any trust in the Baltimore Ravens. I know you guys like them. After what they did last year, which they were stunned by the Tennessee Titans, even admitting later that they completely looked past it, that the bye week really hurt them. They obviously don't have that this time around. But while they're playing really good football at this point, I actually think it's going to be Tennessee that's going to wind up knocking them out. So if I have to pick 1 5 seed and compare it to the other, I got to go with the Bucs here, who, guys, look at their roster. They're just playing better than the Ravens roster. And of course, you got Tom Brady with all the experience. We know what he can do in the playoffs.
All right, Buccaneers, backing Tom Brady in the postseason has generally worked out for most people who have done that, although I am Team Baltimore Ravens flock. I think this is the year for Lamar Jackson. My team, Diana, if you did not know, it's the Los Angeles Rams. I'm from St. Louis. I followed them to L.A. Even I left St. Louis as well for greener pastures, I understand. But I want to talk about their quarterback situation. Do you have any updates on Jared Goff and what Sean McVay plans to do? Should Jared Goff be healthy enough to return to this game, given that John Wolford looked good with his athleticism, his ability to escape the pocket against the Cardinals? We know the Seahawks are playing great defense, just like the Rams. What's the latest on that quarterback situation in L.A.?
I love how you are all in on Wolford there, just because he shows a little bit of movement.
Like the wolf,
he uses
Diana.
his legs. Sean McVay's eyes are all bright with him, just because he's got something new, a new toy to play with out there. But look, the Rams they're going to go with Jared Goff if he can do this. It's going to be 12 days after that surgery. Think about that. I mean, I'm sure you guys can't even go to work after a paper cut. Nevertheless, playing a football game after getting surgery on your thumb. But the sense there in LA is that he's got to be able to go. Look, Jared Goff gets criticized for a lot of things, but the one thing you hear Sean McVay always talk about Goff is he's a really tough guy. And look, we can have a conversation about how you can measure toughness, but he's going to want to be out there. And Seattle has the sense, too, that Goff is going to be back here and try to push through this. It will be one of these situations, guys, and I hate it because I wish I had a more concrete answer for you, but it's going to be day-to-day because they have to see how he recovers from the surgery.
The Buffalo Bills haven't won a playoff game since 1995 when they beat the Miami Dolphins. They're going to be laying a touchdown Saturday against the Indianapolis Colts, who have a heck of a running back in Jonathan Taylor, who lit up the Jaguars in the first quarter of that game this past Sunday. How concerned are you about Buffalo's defense and their ability to try to limit the Indianapolis rushing attack?
I have a lot of concerns for Buffalo, and I've been on the Buffalo wagon literally for the entire seasons going back to the summer. I knew that they were going to be good. I didn't think they'd be this good, by the way, but I knew they would be good. But I do think that the Colts are going to be able to figure them out quickly. And look, on offense, they have torn up some teams here that have really good defenses. But really, my concern, guys, isn't so much that situation. It's the other side of it. It's the Colts defense facing the Bills offense. I think that's where the strength is going to be. They're comfortable with the mobile quarterback. So I think the problem for the Bills on this path is actually going to be against Indy, which I think a lot of people are overlooking.
All right, Diana, finally, let's talk Browns and Steelers. Browns in the playoffs for the first time in basically a generation. They haven't won a playoff game since Bill Belichick was their coach in the mid-'90s. They haven't won in Pittsburgh, where this game will be played, Heinz Field, since 2003. So I ask you, Diana, what chances do you give Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and this Browns gang to go into Pittsburgh and pull off an upset?
Have you ever heard the song Renegade? Well, that stick song they play in the fourth quarter, the infamous Renegade song at every Steelers home game, tells you the story and the
Frozen. I'll tell you something. People from the Garden State, you got to be careful.
Browns, I wonder if she was going to give some love to the Browns. Oh, it sounded like talking about Renegade, Steelers, fourth quarter, Heinz Field.
What would you do with that game? Right now, Pittsburgh's laying 4 points against Cleveland. They just played each other. We've got a few divisional matchups in the next round. We got your Rams in Seattle. We've also got that game.
That game, these teams will be matching up for the third time this season. Right now, again, I want to see some COVID issues with the Cleveland Browns. Who's going to be available? Who's not going to be available? Right now, I kind of want to lean Browns. Because the Steelers just did not look that good. They needed that comeback against the Colts, and then maybe the momentum they would have, gained from that, they kind of lost because their principal stars, Ben Roethlisberger most notably, sat out in Week 17. So I want to lean Browns, but I reserve the right to change that as we get closer to the
Also,
weekend.
it is important to note you don't have to bet every single game. You can. It's a lot of fun. You can. Speaking of not betting every single game, here's only 9 games we bet every single week. It is called the Parlay to Paradise, also known as the money maker that makes no money. $50 wager, 9 teams. Fulgham picks 4, Fortin Ball picks 4, and then we have a special guest who comes on and picks 1 as well. And if it hits, it generally could pay somewhere just north of $20,000, sending us to the aforementioned paradise. Unfortunately, it has yet to hit, which is why we are still in Las Vegas.
17 weeks later.
Paradise, yes, 17 weeks later. Here, oh my God, we went over 17. We did it. We did it, Mom and Dad.
We got the first pick in the next Parlay to Paradise draft, though, by going 0-17.
Well, first off, shout out LaFonso Ellis for coming on, laying the 8 with Wisconsin and winning that game. Shout out to you for only missing 1. No shout outs to me. Thank God I got the early number on Washington, or it's 0-4. It's a squadoosh.
Detroit, Minnesota was a good game, though, at least. It was close back and forth affair.
You got job, dude.
I got job.
You got
Yeah, I
job.
got job.
What a call. That's roughing the passer.
Yeah.
How are you going to
Oh, my God, that was brutal.
Give it 24 hours in Detroit,
That
and then you say to yourself,
was
we'd rather
brutal.
have the better draft pick, but that's
was a brutal call.
That call. All right, I'm being told we're going to take one more shot at this. I'm also being told we're not going to take one more shot at this. So there we go. That call was outstandingly bad. Outstandingly bad. Outstandingly bad. I wasn't watching any of that game. I had no action on that game whatsoever. So I was only popping in and getting score updates. And then everyone's irate about how it's the worst call of all time on social media. So, of course, I go and look at it. And I'm like, yeah, I can agree. Worst call of all time on social media. It trumps the no call from the Saints-Rams game.
Oh,
I shouldn't have brought that up.
I
shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
Oh, you can bring that up in front of me.
Yeah, you don't care.
I was at the Voodoo Dome there wearing an Aaron Donald
You were there for that game?
I was there. I took my nephew, who's a massive Saints and Drew Brees fan. I took him there as a little Christmas gift because he wanted to see Drew Brees in person. And I was surrounded by Saints fans. I thought I was going to get jumped leaving the Superdome because again, I understand Saints fans, but they were deflecting or reflecting their anger towards the referees at me wearing my bright blue and yellow 99 jersey. So I was like, guys, I'm with my nephew. He's 14 years old. Can we, if you're going to jump me, at least do it not in front of my nephew. So
this one right here was live. North Carolina was up 7 with about 10 minutes to go, and then it got tied, and then they gave up 7, another 7. So now they're down, and I'm thinking, just hold on. We'll at least cover the spread, and then they gave up another. Outscored 21-0 to close the game in order to lose that one.
Those were the 2 games, too, that were going to juice our payout there and give us, 50,000 plus. Maybe one of these days. Maybe 2021.
Maybe next time we don't try to juice them and we just try to pick some winners.
Yeah, but we were close there, baby.
Terrible.
We were close.
Which wild card games this weekend did we touch on? We didn't touch on all of them, did we?
No, we haven't touched on. Let's see, Washington. Tampa Bay.
What are you doing with that? Tampa Bay's laying 8 points there. You got a total sitting around 46.
Washington. I love Washington at more than a touchdown. I love it. Tom Brady is not this. He's Tom Brady in a clean pocket. Okay? And it's not like there's a bad offensive line in front of him. There's a good offensive line. Tristan Wirfs, the rookie, has been phenomenal out of Iowa. But he's going to be matched up against the other rookie in Chase Young, who's been even better. One of the best rookies in the entire NFL. Justin Herbert, Justin Jefferson, Chase Young. Those 3 have been the cream of the crop, I think, for this draft class. And we know the Washington defensive line can put pressure on quarterbacks. Tom Brady, if you look at his QBR, when he is kept clean, he's Tom Brady. When he has pressure in his face, he turns into Jared Goff. He turns the ball over. He's ineffective. He's inaccurate. And I think the Washington football team will put pressure on Tom Brady. Mike Evans, if he plays, is going to be less than 100%. Chris Godwin's good. Antonio Brown is good. But that's taking away a big weapon for them. I just love, especially over a touchdown, with the head start for the Washington football team at kickoff. I like that because it's going to be a low-scoring game, I think, with 2 really good defenses. We know Washington's going to struggle to score against the Buccaneers defense, but I think the Bucs are going to struggle a little bit to score against that Washington defense.
I think the under's the play there as well. I agree with you on that. Everything you lined up as to why Tampa's going to have trouble moving the ball in that game, agreed with. I also cannot get the image out of my mind, several images, of Philadelphia just saying, please win this game, and Washington saying, no. is too hard.
Here, you want
We
the football,
can't
Philly?
do it. Philly literally jumped offsides on 4th and 1 to give you the game at the end, and they couldn't score points. Tampa Bay's defense is better than people realize.
Yeah.
And people will look back to the Rams game and perhaps the Saints game, and they'll think, no, I remember them getting blown out. This isn't that. Tampa Bay's defense has smothered bad offenses in the National Football League so far this season. I think you're going to have the weather could be an issue, just a real gritty, grind them out affair. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going under.
Yeah,
You're going with
I
that.
like under. No, I like under as well. I think that's the smart play. If I had to lean aside, I'm more confident in the under. If I had to lean aside, though, right now at 8 points, if I'm getting that with the Washington football team, who's just been the perfect embodiment of their head coach, tough, gritty, maybe a little reckless at times, Riverboat Ron, maybe a little bit reckless, but they're going to play full 60 minutes. They're not going to make it easy at all on Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. So if it's 8 points, I'll take that in my pocket.
Saints laying 10 against the Bears. What are you doing there?
Similarly, I think this is a game that you want to bet under. That's where I'm most comfortable. I think Drew Brees, even if Michael Thomas comes back, if Alvin Kamara is there, the Saints offense doesn't have a ceiling that it once had in years past because Drew Brees is just not the same quarterback that he once was. And then on the other side, we've kind of been given, would you call it pyrite or fool's gold
is what's known
with
as
this
fool's gold,
Chicago offense down the stretch? When Mitchell Trubisky, David Montgomery, and Allen Robinson,
it was pyrite. It's a fake offense. It's a fugazi. It's a fugazi.
When they were playing the Jacksonvilles and the Houstons and the Detroits, Minnesotas, they're going to put up 25, 30 points and look real efficient. They come in, and it's not that the Packers are even like a great defense. They're like middle of the pack.
They had to just play a good team.
Now they're going to play a really, really good defense, and Mitchell Trubisky's going to, it's midnight, and the glass slipper's falling off Mitchell Trubisky, and the pumpkin is coming back for him. He is going to struggle. David Montgomery's not dynamic enough to do it on his own. So the Bears defense a little good. The Saints defense really good. Like the under there.
I am being told we're taking one final shot at bringing NFL reporter, ESPN extraordinaire from the Garden State, Diana Russini, into the show. Diana, here's what we're going to do. No one comes onto this show as a guest and escapes without playing a little trivia. We've got 5 questions for you. You ready to take a shot at Bet Trivia?
Look, anyone watching this is never going to come on this show again because they're going to think there's all these technical glitches. So I love this show, by the way. I just want to let you know, but I'm ready to go for the quiz. Let's go.
All right, number 1. There's only one team in the NFL that I'm referencing right here. This team scored on their opening drive yesterday, and it was the first time all season that they scored a touchdown on their opening drive. The answers here are only playoff teams. Who was it?
The Bears.
Good try. It was the Washington football team, believe it or not. That high-powered offense really...
yes. That was shocking, actually. It was shocking.
All right, Diana, got another question for you. Again, only playoff teams are possible answers. 2 teams went undefeated in their division this season. What 2 playoff teams were undefeated in divisional play?
The Tennessee Titans. Was that one of them?
No, you're already off. I'm sorry. Not the Titans. I'll give you a hint.
No, this is obvious. The Saints and the Bills.
Ding, 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 ding. There it is.
That's good. That's solid. With no hint whatsoever, she nailed that.
I was just about to give a hint, but then she nailed it there.
All right, question number 3. Who is the only 11-win team that qualified for the postseason that enters the postseason with a negative scoring differential? Been a long time since we've seen
the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns.
Boom. She nailed it.
Give me that bell. All right.
I really got it?
Yes.
Yeah. Diana on a roll here. Let's keep it hot and not frozen. Derrick Henry had his 3rd 200-yard rushing game on Sunday against the Texans. Only this player in 1980 had more 200-yard rushing games in a single season. What is that player's name? 1980 is when he did it. 1980, he had 4 200-yard rushing games. And he played for a franchise that is now in the postseason.
Give me the franchise name.
The franchise name is the Tennessee Titans. What was their franchise name in 1980, and who was their running back?
Well, they would have been the Oilers then.
Correct.
All right, we're halfway there.
And who would be the running back who could amass 200-yard rushing games with his bullish running style in 1980?
It has to be Earl Campbell.
Ding, ding, ding,
Look at her.
ding.
She
Earl
nailed it.
Campbell. She got it.
Final one. Final one. Aaron Rodgers finished Sunday's game at Chicago with 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. How many games this season did Rodgers have 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions? We're going to make this a 50-50 for you. It's over 5 games or it's under 5 games.
It's under 5.
Oh, no. The correct answer was the
sorry.
Moops. The Moops.
The Moops.
ESPN NFL reporter Diana Russini, thank you for playing along. Thanks for coming on the show, Diana. We greatly appreciate it.
Guys, I scored like a 10 on my SAT, so I'm just excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Diana's
That is a wrap for us. Thank you, all who are out there, for watching the latest Disney installment of Frozen, Frozen 4.
Frozen 4,
the
starring
Bet
Diana
Experience.
Russini. It was fun. It was fun.
He's Tyler Foljam. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh. Thank you so much for checking us out. We are going to be out tomorrow, as always, on Tuesday, but we're back on Wednesday. We're back on Thursday, and we're getting set for the playoffs. Any parting words?
None at all.
He's frozen.
Sorry for the Secret
got
Santa
nothing.
gifts. Sorry for the Secret Santa gifts. How about that?